Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Friday Reads, live Friday Reads with myself and Mr. ShawnDStandfast.
Let me get my tarot cards out.
What do you see in the future?
Lots of books, lots of reading.
Lots of books and lots of reading. Blimey, we've shot up to 9 people. Hello, everyone.
Wow.
Well, we've shot down to 5 now. So you see, as soon as you said you're getting your tarot cards out, everybody ran away. Oh dear. So yeah, Friday reads. Guess we'll start with you, as I'm the moderator. We've gone down to 2 now. That's impressive. Oh, hang on. We just got to think. Hi, Sonia. Happy Friday to you too. Hi, Jenny.
Right.
Where's Aaron? It's unusual.
So
He's usually waiting for us with a comment.
9 to 2. Jeez.
I know.
Going away then. Bye.
Yeah, the 2 are probably are just Sonia and Jenny, which we're happy to have you, of course. So, what have you been reading, Mr. Standfast?
Not a whole lot, to be honest, but I finished up because we've talked about it. Is the novel of the century? I think on Saturday. I think I did, and then I didn't start probably till Sunday. Was Lost Illusions.
Back,
and I just finished that this morning because Tuesday I had a hiccup. My eyesight started coming back, and that just really, it's pretty well back fully now. But
it's funny, isn't it? You go blind in one eye and you manage to read. It starts coming back, and you have a hiccup where you can't read for a bit. But
yeah. Well, try to
Alexis,
read.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. Like try to read through something like through a kaleidoscope in one eye while you're trying to look. And then today I've started the 3rd book, The Conscience of the Rich, by C.P. Snow. That's it. That's all the reading this week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll take mine. And by the way, everybody watching, feel free to put in the comments what you've been reading this week. We like to share around the Friday reads. Well, I've only finished one thing this week, and I finished it today, and that's the Oedipus Cycle by Sophocles. Translated by the award-winning Robert Bagg, some American poet, and it was good. It's interesting because I'm supposed to be reading with Shelley Swearingen. She's doing a reading of it. She has the Fagles Penguin version, and I believe that version has the plays in order of publication, or in order that they were written. I suppose they probably weren't really published back then. So hers starts off with Antigone, and mine starts off with Oedipus Rex, or Oedipus the King. And so I read it in this order because I think it's probably better to read it in this order, because everything that happens in the last play, or the first play in her edition, is reliant on all the stuff that came before it. So I don't know why Penguin's done that, to be honest. It seems a bit weird to me, but so people reading that will, if they didn't know, that's sorry, the glare's so big on my light. I do like the cover, though. I have to say, I like the blood spatters and the fact you can see like the person's face in the blood. There's like almost like the queen or something. But they were good. They were good. They got worse as I went along. I quite enjoyed Oedipus Rex. I mean, it wasn't, a barrel of laughs, but it was pretty good. And then I do think for me, Antigone was probably the weakest one, maybe. But yeah, I'm glad I read them. I can now pretend that I'm really smart in the future by saying, yeah, Sophocles. Yeah, I've read him. So, and like you, Sean, of course, I've been reading Lost Illusions by Honoré de Balzac, and really enjoying it. I'm a bit behind you. Where are you up to?
I'm finished.
You finished?
Yeah, I'm finished. That's what I said. I finished it this morning.
Oh, crikey. I didn't hear that. Okay. Right. All right then. Okay, so I'm quite a bit behind you then.
I would have finished last night, but I was getting a little tired, and I thought I'd leave the last 25 pages to this morning.
Huh. Okay, all right then. Yeah, so I'm a bit behind you. I'm 230 pages, so it's about a third of the way through, I guess, isn't it? So I'm enjoying it. It's very good, very interesting. And then something else I was reading, but it's on pause, and I haven't really read it this week because I've been, reading these other things with people. I'm not going to talk about. Suddenly, loads of comments have come through. I'll get to them in a second. I'll just finish off with. I made a start on my Mammoth, The Mysteries of Paris by Eugene Sue. Massive book here, and I really like it. I really like it. I think, as I was saying to you, it's not going to win any prizes for literature. It's kind of like reading a comic book without the pictures in it. It's very it's a very easy read. It's fun, and yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm only 70 pages into all 1,350 odd pages that it is, so there's quite a way to go, but we'll see. Good fun. So
Well, yeah.
What?
No, I was just saying I won't be starting that till next week at the earliest because I got to read Recognitions first. So.
Oh wow! Have you started Recognitions or?
No, I'm gonna start. I was hoping to start today or no tomorrow, but I won't be because I got the CP snow, so it'll most likely be Sunday.
Right, let's go through the comments that all came in at once. So, hey, Tucker Snooze. Hello, nice to see you. Yes, Alexis, hi. The rich have no conscience. Okay. Sonia finished The Time Traveler's Wife. That's right. You said last time you were reading that. So, how was it? Was it good? Jenny read The Road. I'm guessing is that Cormac?
Yeah, Cormac
McCarthy, probably.
That's Steve's favorite book. That's Steve Donahue's favorite book. He raves about it. He's made many videos about it. He dissected it chapter by chapter. He loves the book.
Yeah. He likes Cormac McCarthy, does he? And Sally Rooney. Andrew's reading Orwell's The Lion and the Unicorn.
Oh yeah, that's good. It's a short essay collection, but yeah, it's a good one.
Tucker Snooze, The Witching Hour by Anne Rice. And Alexis has I'm assuming it's temporarily given up reading to spend all her time watching booktube videos on her phone. So have you seen anything interesting? So everybody, thanks for coming. We've done our Friday reads. It's got to be like the fastest one ever.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk because you sent me a link for a video. I'm not saying who it is because I don't think this person deserves to have views or even a comment on it, because I normally would comment on people's videos, but this one is so bad in many ways. I couldn't watch it all, but it made me laugh. It made my week. It had to do with the Roald Dahl one that you said, and the guy is so adamant and angry that people are so stupid that they're calling it censorship, and he's saying, look up the word censorship. It's not that. All they're doing is taking out words they don't agree with. And I couldn't stop laughing for so long.
Yeah, I think I know the one you mean. So
but yeah, I'm not saying who it is, and it's not because I don't want to, but it's just it doesn't deserve any kind of promotion and whatsoever. But it was thank you for that, because it made me laugh very much.
I don't think it made me laugh that much, so did it, Sean?
You watched the whole thing. I couldn't after that. I just couldn't. It's one of those things that it wasn't a faux pas. I mean, it wasn't just a slip of the tongue. This person really meant it.
One of the things that bothers me so much, and I hope I put this across the right way, is when people go on about privilege whilst being privileged in the way that they do it. there's a patronizing tone to a lot of these people, the way they talk down on it, and it's like their way is the only right way. If you don't agree with them, you are somehow part of the right-wing nutters, you know. And the thing is, I and many other people who did actually comment, or a few other people that I read commented on that particular video, they said themselves, they're absolutely not right-wing. I'm not a right-wing person. I don't, you know, particularly have any right-leaning inclinations. I just don't like, you know, my stuff I like being messed around with, you know, and it just trivialize it and so it doesn't matter. But I think people don't understand that sometimes these things start small, you know. It's because if you don't do anything when it's at a point where it can be stopped, they get out of control and you end up with you know, horrible situations.
I don't want to censor his video. I just want to take out the words that I disagreed with. That's not. I don't want. That's not censoring.
And yeah, but for political gain, right?
For money, maybe. Yeah.
Therapeutic censorship. Elvis says hello, don't you? Yeah. Aaron's just started Liberation Day by George Saunders. It's weird reading new books. I don't know George Saunders. Do I know the name?
Isn't that the actor's name? No, it's what's
No, there is George Saunders, the actor, the one who killed himself.
yeah.
Is that who it is, Aaron? Is it the old actor? He's the voice of Shere Khan, I think, in the Jungle Book. Elvis agrees. Yeah, Elvis agrees with me. He's a big fan of Roald Dahl as well, and he doesn't like the books being messed around with. Jenny's staying safe in the middle, watching the left and right fight like a tennis match. Yeah. Hey, Alan. Good to see you.
Right.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I don't know. I just do get annoyed. I mean, there are certain people who I won't mention who I feel are very patronizing, and they do sit there and they preach and they say this because they've taken a line that they are convinced is the right one, and therefore everybody who disagrees with them is somehow a Nazi. You know, when, you know, they're being quite aggressive in the way they do it as well, you know, certainly more aggressive, I think, than maybe I was when I made my video. I was just upset, but I wasn't calling people who agreed with it idiots, basically. So
I will.
Sorry? You would, yeah. You haven't got a problem with that.
But the thing is, it's not. Hopefully, it's done in a different light. You know, that's the thing. It's not in the same. Or at least I don't think it's in the same patronizing way that they'll do it. It's just I just thought it was hilarious where somebody says that's not the meaning of this, and then goes and demonstrates the exact meaning that is not it. That's the definition of an idiot.
Omnipotent Poobah, you may very well think so, but I couldn't possibly comment.
The Aussie video? That's threw me, but I don't know who this person was, so.
Well, they were probably Antipodean, but as I say, I couldn't possibly comment. Omnipotent Poobah knows what they're talking about, so.
Oh, okay.
Aaron went back, and it's the right name, but different people. And Tom advises us that George Saunders is an American author. So there we go. Thank you for that, Tom. And Alexis, the center is not safe. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Well, yeah, it's true, I suppose. There's going to come a time where you're going to have to choose a side, perhaps, but it's difficult, I think. So, yeah. And what about videos this week? Have you managed to make any?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What?
As opposed to, I don't know, somebody else you could be asking.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I was asking Steve because he's probably watching. I'm asking you.
Yeah, well, haven't I made a video every day?
I know, but some people watching, they might have missed it. What were your highlights? You know, or maybe you watched some good videos that you want to highlight. seeing as we've run out of Friday reads after the first 10 minutes.
I'm trying to remember what did I put out. I can't remember what I. Oh,
I know you put out one about eating worms, which I found
Yeah.
very distasteful.
Yeah, that was the second childhood book quest, and because I'll be coming to the end of that soon, and want I want to continue it because it's so far been very fun.
What's the highlight so far? Paddington?
Yeah, Paddington. It's going to be hard to beat that. It's gonna be hard to beat that, and I want to read more. I got to get more of Paddington. It really threw me. Paddington just threw me. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that kind of thing, and it was as soon as the one line on like the third page, that his aunt goes into a home for aged, bears or something like that. That it just had me.
A bear retirement home.
Yeah.
You kind of look like the way you are now dressed. Look like you could belong in a bear's retirement home.
I just need the hat.
Yeah, Alan says you look chilly.
Yeah, I am.
So yeah, and I don't know. Did you see anything particularly worth mentioning?
Did I mention something to you that I liked? I'm trying to think. I don't know if there was anything that was really.
Well, apart from just the people that we joke about behind their backs, of course. But I'm kidding, by the way. Maybe.
I'm not sure. I don't think I've watched some, but there was nothing that stood out like really that I went wow with, or any book on there that I went wow with. I don't think. I can't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm not helping you here.
No, we're stalling a bit here. I think Alexis is going to have to take over. But you made a video on worms and some other stuff, didn't you? Yeah. What about that new book you got? That looked good. Well, not new, but
which one?
The June on the Range.
Oh yeah, I did a little thing for that because I just thought I was at loose ends today for a video. Yeah, this is I've always been interested in American dime novels. They started in basically during the American Civil War, and they were like cheap paper. They were cheap, and the cheapest kind of writing as well. If you think there's trashy writing, most of that had it beat in many ways. But I've been interested in it, and I wanted to do some westerns. So I got this. I came across it as a reference. There's 4 from an author that is the biggest sort of writer of the time. And so that's one a week. And I just couldn't believe the condition. It was £2.23.
£2.23.
Yeah, £2.23. I expected just a text block, and I thought, well, beggars can't be choosers. I'll be able to read them. And this guy's got a lot of introduction and bibliographical information about it, so I'm going to really, really enjoy this.
That's good.
And then I'm going to continue to read my robot, 19th century robot.
Steampunk.
This is pre-steampunk by 150 years.
Thank you, Alan. Yeah, I had a good time. It was good fun. Over 2 hours, your longest yet. Well, I do go on a bit, as everybody who watches this on my channel knows. I do have a tendency to chat nonsense for a long period of time. Alexis, I like the Tell Me the Truth tag, Sean.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Did you do that one?
Yeah, I did on Tuesday. I can't remember what the answers were.
I don't think I saw that one. That's terrible.
Let me look to see what I've actually done.
I'm a bad friend. I don't remember.
I did it on Tuesday. I still got to do. You tagged me in another one, and I think Alan's tagged me in something, which I haven't even watched his yet. I'm behind on tags. Oh, I got to do the Historathon tag as well.
Yeah, I've got loads to do. I just haven't. The problem is, for some of them, you really have to do a lot of prep for, and it's like, oh, I can't remember, or I can't decide which book to talk about. It becomes quite difficult. The stresses and strains of booktubing.
Okay, yeah, I did the Hornblower on Saturday,
Uh,
and I sort of did the response. We talked about that at Classics Worth It, and then I did translations. I did Sackett's second one, and then yeah, Tell Me the Truth Tag, and then I did a wrap up of February reading and what I'm reading for March.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And if people weren't asleep by then, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm going to be back down to just maybe 2 or 3 a week, I think, from next week as I'm back to work. So I won't be able to make one every day, but it's a shame. I
Well,
did
my
try to do as many as I could in a day off, but I didn't manage more than 3. So
Well, I decided in January that almost every book I read, I'll try to make some kind of video for it. And I was so behind for January's that I was able to do one every day. But now I'm sort of petering out because I am almost caught up on everything. So, but again, like we got to do, like I haven't done Les Miserables, I haven't done the Book of the Century, and I haven't done Lost Illusions yet. But these are things that I sort of waiting. Like I don't know if we're gonna do something together for Les Miserables.
well, I think we can combine probably Les Mis and Book of the Century.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can. Yeah.
I think they go well together, and I think it'd be hard not to talk about one without the other. So, but I know you want to make some videos on the themes that you came across in Book of the
Yeah,
Century. So,
there's a few that I want to do, just little short, little things that are sort of asides.
I mean,
Oh,
I
and
found it. I found it a fascinating read, and I would like to read more kind of books like that. You don't come. Well, I haven't come across too many biographies of books.
well, there's two biographies, two biographies of 1984 that's come
Uh-huh.
out in a little while.
Yeah, but
Uh,
the problem with that is I'd have to read 1984 again.
yeah, that is a bit of a strain.
So
Oh, I
yeah.
agree, it is a strain. But what else? Like I've seen other ones. Oh, I'm getting one for that I'll be doing for the Maltese Falcon. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I'll be doing that. There's a few of them out there. I don't know if like the novel of Century was so good, but there's a couple others that are Les Miserables related too, and I wonder what they're like if they take a different tact and they do something else.
Mm.
So that could be interesting.
Alexis thanks Alan for the stream on Monday, and Alan thanks Alexis for the compliment. They're waiting for you in recognition, Sean.
Yeah, well, as I said, it'll be lucky if I start on Sunday. When my eyesight started coming back on Tuesday, I wasn't even reading 10 pages an hour. I couldn't because it's like trying to read through a kaleidoscope.
The booksellers ask if you read a book every day. They mean, do you actually complete a book daily?
Me?
Hmm.
It depends on the length, but if I'm doing a peak reading for the moment and the hours that I have available, if it's if it's usually around 250 pages, I can. But then sometimes it depends. If it's a really uh fast book, something like Maltese Falcon, I can read that in a morning or an afternoon. It depends on the book. But something like Les Miserables or something like that, I obviously can't. That's 1,400 pages. But I can easily do 200 pages, 150 to 200 pages in a day.
Have you got like a personal best of reading a certain number of books within a 24-hour period?
I've done stuff, but when I could stay awake before I had COVID, so I had more hours to do. I've been able, like science fiction stuff that are like 160 to 200 pages, the older ones. I've read 10 books in a day a couple times. because you can just go through them really quickly. But that's like staying a whole 24 hours. Okay, I can't do that now. There's no way, and I could never stay awake that long now.
I mean, I remember when I was not working and I was living in Germany, and I was getting through like a John. I mean, it's only John Grisham, but like a John Grisham a day, and they're not, they're not small books. But I enjoyed them. They were good fun, and I think that's part of it, really, because they read like what you don't have to think about it, so you
Yeah,
read much faster. So
yeah,
even if it's 400 pages or something, it's readable in a day.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's like when I was working, I've read it a couple times and I really like them. Like the first time I wasn't sure, but then the second time I really like them is the Colin Dexter Inspector Morris books. And I got another set of several years ago, and I just read one an evening. I came home for work and just spent a few hours reading, and it was just went like it was that easy. And I want to read them again, and read and then watch the episodes and just
Have you
sort of.
got them on DVD?
No, I don't. That's the problem. I used to have them, but I had to sell some stuff, so I don't no longer have it. And it's the same as Agatha Christie. I want to go through with the Poirot and the Miss Marple ones. I'd love to read and then watch the episodes. So, and I
Yeah,
don't.
I would like to go through the Agatha Christie's one day properly. I think that would be fun. Alan's glad your eyesight's coming back. The book zealots say it's impressive. Your reading, I guess. Jenny says what she wouldn't give for Steve's reading speed. Curse you, sub-vocalization. I had the same problem, Jenny. I can't not sub-vocalize. It's the ability not to do it is something akin to a superpower for me.
Well, see, I can do that with something like the Paddington book. I mean, literally, that only took me about an hour and 45 minutes, or 2 hours in total if I would have sat down and did it. And
Yeah, but it's a
like,
book for 3-year-olds or something, isn't it? I mean,
well, yeah, but what I mean is I can read some stuff really quick. Like
I'm just thinking the book zealots are not that impressed now.
but it's like, there was a couple days like when things are going good on an easy book, I could read like 80 pages an hour, 90 pages an hour. Steve does 150. Like I just don't know how I could. My eyes can't go back and forth that much, on a line. Even though I'm not reading every word, I still need to look at the line, and you just sort of like this, and I can't do it any faster.
I just don't know how people can really take it in that well. You can read it like what's happened, but how do you? Sorry, it's going crazy. How do you? How can you really discuss it properly? If I wonder. I do wonder. Alan read Picture of Dorian Gray in 24 hours and videoed the whole thing. Yeah, I think you have to speed up the audio generally. Yeah, agree with Jenny. I do as well.
I have to lean forward to see.
Omnipotent Poobah says copying Steve is easy. You just need -3 hours sleep, 5 hours of book tubing, 2 hours of walking the dog, and 2 hours in the Brattle. Yeah, I don't know. I'm never sure about Steve sleeping though, because when you Voxer him and stuff, I suppose he could be busy doing other things, but I always just assume that he is actually sleeping.
Well, he says I think about 11 o'clock at night or something till the morning. That's when he turns everything off.
He turns everything off, does he? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how he manages to look so young and virile and everything on just 3 hours sleep a day. It's amazing. Jenny, eat, sleep, and breathe books. Yeah, actually, I would say that's true of you, Alan. You never seem to be asleep. I mean, I've sent you messages when I know it would be like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning your time, and I pretty much get a response all the time, and you seem to be up doing stuff. So yeah, I don't know how you function.
Yeah, well, the eat, sleep, and read is about me. It's like that's every day pretty well. But I
Yeah.
don't have that many hours to read. That's the thing. I only have about 6 hours a day. Sometimes I can get 8 if it's a good day, but it's as low as 3 or 4 hours some days because I am just too tired and my brain's not working. And I do notice that at times where with this COVID now, when I'm tired, my reading slows really down, and I have to really plod through every word. And then what the day that's really good, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to plow through. But that's not every day.
Alan suffers from sleep apnea then, by the sounds of it.
And yeah, I do too. But I haven't for the last 2 years almost, I haven't slept deep enough to have that bother me much.
Yeah. Jenny says sleep is for the weak. We can sleep when we're dead. Yeah. What was I going to say? Completely lost. I don't know. I mean, I do sleep, but I get up quite early. You know, I go to bed. I go to bed quite early, but I don't sleep early. So I tend to do a lot of my reading in bed, and depending on whether the book grabs my attention or not, depends pretty much when I fall asleep. And then Elvis and I get up around 4:30 every day. So
Yeah, well, for me, it's like if I'm lucky, I can get 3 hours of half decent rest at once, and then usually then I'm awake for a while, and then if I'm lucky, I can get some more, and that's at nighttime because, as you probably know, I'll send you messages at like 2 a.m. and then at 3 or 4 a.m. I'm sending another message.
yeah, that's what I mean. It seems like you're working the night shift.
But then in the daytime, I could be conked out for a couple hours as well. I try not to, but it depends on the day.
What, like Wednesdays you conk out, or
By Wednesday.
no, just because you said depends on the day, but I know what you mean. I'm just being facetious. Alan, too much to do. Read art, music. Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, I find I don't watch really any television anymore. I feel like I'm cheating on my reading if I'm watching something. The only time I'll watch something is when I sit down and, I know you shouldn't do it, but I do find I watch something when I eat because rather than watching and eating, I eat and watch, right? So I'm not watching a load of stuff and going to eat, but I find when I made a meal, sit down, it's something like, I don't know, company, or you know what I mean? It just seems weird sitting here in a quiet space eating. So, and I don't like reading when I eat. So I watch something, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, I watch YouTube videos while I have a meal. While it's being cooked, if it's quiet enough downstairs, which it's not always quiet enough, I will read while I'm preparing the food, and then watch a video.
Well, I plan to watch that Hobbit recut thing while I was off that Aaron sent us. I'll do that over the weekend. And I wanted to watch the 4th series of Fauda on Netflix because that's a great show. And I plan to do that, and I haven't done it. I've neglected my TV watching to read books.
Well, look at all the Blu-rays I've got here. There's most of them I've seen them in the past.
I was going to say, you've probably seen them.
Yeah, but I haven't watched them since I got the Blu-rays. And it's not just usually watching it, then you rewatch it to listen to the commentary, and then you watch the extras.
Yeah, I never really got into commentary and all that, though. But I'm not a huge film buff. Yeah, Aaron's like me. He feels like he's cheating on his books when he watches TV. Omnipotent Pooh Bar says, don't know about you, but I find reading at the end of the day is largely time wasted, as it just washes over. If I can read on the commute it's much better. Yeah, much better. He's continued it there. Yeah, I don't. I find it hard to read on the commute now because my commute's by bus and I work in the mountains and it's a bit kind of like. So I struggle to read. I will listen. I don't know why I'm giving you the actions, but I will listen to the audiobooks when I'm on the bus. But yeah, I suppose most of my reading I get done. Um, I do get some done at school because if I have a free and I'm all prepared, then I will read something. And then for me in the afternoon, evening, it's not a problem. It's kind of my wind down time, because I think a lot of people, the way they approach books and reading, they do look at it as like a chore or like homework or schoolwork. A number of people who say to me like they read in their jobs, so they associate reading with like work, so they don't get they don't get a relaxation out of it. Whereas for me, my reading at the end of the day is my reward, so it's what I look forward to. It is my relaxation. Now, of course, as a teacher, I read a lot during the day as well, but I'm able, I think, somehow to separate the two things, that reading for work and reading for pleasure. So it is interesting how people do associate that. I mean, the number of kids who just don't like reading because they associate it as something they have to do for school rather than, well, you can actually do this for pleasure. Let's see. Jenny says, I remember reading at work when it was quiet and saying to some inconsiderate customer to hold on a second until you got to the end of the chapter. Well, you do work in the post office, right, Jenny? So that doesn't surprise me.
Well, I love, like, when the different jobs I've had here in the UK. There was one, I was living here, but I had a job in Milton Keynes, so it means taking a bus through. And so I had to leave so early in the morning because there were 12-hour shifts. I had to leave so early that the local buses weren't running, so I'd walk into the bus station, but I'd always go in, so I'd be 20 minutes to half an hour early, purposely, so I could read. And then because it's the milk run, it took over an hour to get there, and then it's either get there 45 minutes to an hour before my shift starts or after my shift starts. So then I'd read there, and then because it's a 12-hour shift, I had like at least an hour and a bit during the day for breaks and lunch. So I read, and then coming back home, the same thing. So a lot of times I finished a book that time if it was an easy book to read. And then another place that I worked nights. I won't say where because people will say, "Oh, that's why this is so bad." But it was like
What?
why the service was so bad, because I read all night. But it was a service that it depended on people calling in for this service.
It wasn't like the ambulance service, was it?
Similar.
Oh my god! Yeah, hang on. I'm just reading. What? He's having a heart attack. Wait, 2 minutes.
I actually did that for a little while, but that's
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, but the thing is, and then some nights was busy. Like you didn't even have a chance to breathe, and then other nights you get like 10 calls during the night. So you're on a 11-hour shift, you got to do something.
Yeah.
So I read and bought books and DVDs online. that was my night.
Alan, is General Hospital an hour each day? I thought it would only be like a half-hour show. Omnipotent Pooh says, Sean, you can't leave it there. Meaning you probably have to tell us what you were doing. And then we have
the service doesn't exist anymore, but it was a medical thing. People calling in for.
Oh, I know. You told me. I know.
But I just don't want to say it because it's like people will say, "Oh, well, that's why it's bad." But no, it's like you have.
Well, I'm sure you weren't the only one working there, though, right? So.
No, there was others. There were nurses.
Well, they were all shopping and reading and doing.
Well, yeah, because it depends on how busy it is. You had to be there in case it does get busy.
Right.
You have to do something if you're not busy,
Yeah.
And then you get the nights that, like, I got nights that you just, you couldn't take a breath, and it was just crazy,
And we have a question from a viewer. Hi, what do you think makes contemporary literature so appealing to readers today? And how do you think it reflects the current cultural, social, and political climate? Very intelligent question, but perhaps to the wrong two people, because we're not very well versed in contemporary
Well, I
literature.
don't think it reflects the current cultural, social, and political climate. I don't think they do. But and I don't know, are they actually? My question back is, are they appealing to readers today? It's not appealing to me, and I'm a reader, so, and I don't think it appeals to you so much. You're a reader, so yeah, I don't know.
It's an interesting question, though, because I think it is. I mean, it is obviously appealing to, I think, quite a large number of people. I mean, you'll find most people talking about books on YouTube will at least discuss some contemporary literature in addition to the kind, well, to classic works and things like that. Whereas we pretty much don't discuss any contemporary literature, do we? Really? I mean, probably me more than you, but even then, it's very well, no, it's very rare, but occasionally I do. Occasionally,
Well,
very
that's
occasionally.
why I tried to do that. Will Sean like it?
Yeah.
And so I've got 3 now that are within the last couple of years, and I'll be getting the AI suggested one as well.
And I think it's interesting because, like, as you said about whether or not it does reflect current cultural, social, and political climate, I think the interesting thing is just how much the older stuff we read reflects the current cultural, social, and political climate, and just illustrates how nothing changes.
Yeah.
You can read Les Mis, which is what 50 years old,
160.
160 years old. Sorry, one of Elvis's toys just lost an ear. I went to pull it and his ear came off. Not Elvis's, by the way, it's one of his toys. And a lot of the social struggles that he talks about, the poverty and all this stuff, it's either making a reappearance or some of these issues are still issues that we're facing today. It's almost like nobody learns anything.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like what I'm saying here is a lot of secondhand knowledge from other people who do that have read new books, and if there is any cultural or social or political climate in it, it's very superficial, not going in deep, and that's my experience of the ones that I've read, which is very small. So it's just I have yet to find something that really will do that. It's like, I'm sure there's stuff out there. I'm sure stuff is being written, but it's like, I'm sure there's good movies out there and there's good TV. It's like, how do you find it?
Well, thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm sorry that in some degrees
I
we're
don't know
not.
if it's wisdom.
Yeah, we're not the best to ask, maybe, but have you tried the AI? Perhaps that if you're writing a paper, perhaps it can answer some of it for you. I'm kidding, of course. But no, thank you. It's nice to get a question that isn't related to science fiction. So at least I feel I can answer something. I'm limited by suggesting that perhaps you worked at the Samaritan Helpline. You what? You're standing on the ledge? Hang on a minute. Let me just get to the end of this chapter. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. All American soap operas are an hour in length. Blimey. Jenny says she avoids contemporary when she can. The real world sucks and she prefers to hide from it. Yeah, I mean, I certainly do use a lot of my reading as escapism. I feel a safety in the bookish world, as it were. Actually, it does. It is kind of like a safety blanket in some ways. Contemporary lit. John Irving released a new one that I had from the library, but didn't get to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember he was saying that, and that was sort of a surprise. I didn't know he was still alive. Not Alan. I mean John Irving.
Omnipotent Poobah agrees with Sean. Ever since circa 2015, contemporary fiction has become a strange ecosystem. And Jenny says, isn't modern contemporary also just autofiction now? Yeah, I mean, this is an expression I find interesting because when I don't know whether it's just my dirty mind, but it always sounds like something sexual to me, autofiction. I think it's because I'm thinking of auto asphyxiation.
No, autoerotic, isn't it?
Autoeroticism, auto asphyxiation. So when I hear, autofiction, and I mean, Alexis is asking, what is autofiction? So, Sean, I hand it over to you to answer.
This is probably not fully correct.
Well, don't worry, because Elizabeth has given us a definition. Hello, Elizabeth. Autofiction is when a wannabe writer can't create plot nor character and decides their own life is good enough to be a novel. So, yeah.
Better than I can say it.
Pretty on point, I should say. Yeah. Obviously, Elizabeth's a big fan of autofiction, as you can tell from the.
Well, I loved, but I'm the only one that I think thought it was funny. Your little slip of a word for the replacement for a for the in the M book, Son of the Century, and you accidentally said Son of a Century, and I was eating and I had to spit out my food. I thought it was so funny. And I thought that was probably a better title. Or just, as you say, M, son of a. But I said it to a few other people because I thought it was so funny. Not like this. I just want to make it clear for everybody. And Elizabeth, I wasn't laughing at her. I was laughing at what it actually came out.
Yeah. That's not what you did when I could play the box. And, hey, Mark, guess what Elizabeth did? No.
But yeah, no, it's just, but I told the other people, they go, yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, never mind. Maybe it's just in my head, but that's all that matters. But that is a book I want to read. I do want to read that book because, Mussolini is a son of a. But I do want to read that because it sounds so different in some ways, and it's big, so I'm curious.
But is it a one-off or is it part of a series? I mean, it's not.
I thought it was just a one-off. I
don't know why I thought it was like the first part in a longer work on Mussolini, but I might be wrong.
Well, it's fiction.
I might be wrong.
It's a novel, so it's
but I don't know.
I don't. Maybe it is. I didn't know.
I thought it was like Wolf Hall, but for Mussolini.
Oh, maybe it is. If it is,
I'm right. Yeah, it's the first. I'm right. It's the first of the trilogy. Yeah.
Well, I'll wait until the full trilogy is out then before I read it. Then I'm more interested in it. I'm more interested.
So the full trilogy is out.
I'm gonna come over there and slap you sometime.
Yeah.
But
I know. In that respect, I'm pretty safe.
I do want. That makes me more interested in it though because of the size of that.
Yeah, you are very much. You size is important to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
The bigger, the better for Mr. Standfast. It's like, what was it? We were talking about something the other day, and you're like, oh, I don't know. It can't be a good biography. It's only 200 pages long.
Well, yeah, it depends on if it's supposed to be an all-encompassing biography. How can you say it? Like, you can get a general gist of the person, but I probably already know that about them. The 200 pages. I want something that's 800 or 1,000. Like even these biographies that we got here that you got, we're going to read of Hugo and Balzac, are only 500 some pages, and I'm going, they weren't more than that,
Yeah, but it's what you do with the information that counts.
Yeah, but you can't. 500, I think, you can do something with, but 200 some pages, unless you're focusing on one little thing.
Yeah, okay, I get you. Jenny agrees with you. We all enjoy bigger. So there we go. Elizabeth advises that it is out now in Italian. However, the first part is only available. The first part is available in English. So
I'll still have to wait till it's in English. I'll pass on the Italian.
Well, you could learn maybe.
If I learned anything, it would be French to read Balzac, Zola, and Hugo, and a few others. That would be the only language right now that I think I would. Even though I dabbled and wanted to read Greek, ancient Greek, and Latin and Anglo-Saxon and stuff like that, but right now, if I did, it would be French.
Hello, Stephanie. Honestly, I ask myself this every week. What kind of channel am I watching? Yeah. So, but I mean, because you are quite judgmental, I think, when it comes to size of books. It is interesting. I mean, have you got a favorite short work?
Of what way? In what way?
An all-encompassing book about something that is less than 150 pages.
There are some that are good. There are some that are good because I know some of the subject and it's general. It's like that River of Gods or whatever it was. That was really short. You could make that 2,000 pages if you want to, because there's so much stuff that's there. But that was really good. That took a lot of stuff and gave you a lot of stuff and a good thing, and it's really good. But it's only going to be so good because you're not going to have time to delve a little deeper into things. It's not judgmental so much, and I like shorter novels. Like I say, science fiction stuff. The old stuff is like 150, 160 pages. That's a novel.
So for you, it's more important with nonfiction that it be big.
It depends on the book, but definitely nonfiction. Yeah, more so in nonfiction because I want something. Usually, if I pick up a nonfiction book, it's either something that I know nothing about, or it's something I already know something about. And if I already know something about it, I don't want to rehash really the same stuff that I already know. Sometimes it's interesting to reread something like that, is because the person may take a different tact on it, but I want something that I don't know, and I want a little more depth. Like I want something more detail of X in this, I want more detail.
You want more X's? Well,
X meaning the whatever subject that is.
I just wondered. I thought I was just thinking, Stephanie, I can't see you. Are you behind one of the piles of books? But I didn't read it all there. Hi, Alan. I'm with Sean. Where's she hidden? I want my biographies to be big. I don't know why I'm reading it in a porno voice. Sorry, Stephanie. I want my biography. I can't help myself. You read it, Sean.
I want my biographies to be big. Short biographies just don't cut it. Was that right?
I'm so sorry. Good thing. Well, it's good that you make your feelings clear, Stephanie. So, sorry. One short non-fiction where I really like, I have to say, and it's one I'm going to try and recommend people to read because it's such a weird subject matter, and I think if people just hear about it, it might not be interested. But I really enjoyed it, and I think it might only be 70 pages, 80 pages, maybe on its own. It might even be less. I don't know, but it's Alphonse Daudet.
Yeah,
and it's In the Land of Pain.
Yeah,
his
more type thing. He's just taking
I think it's
something.
Julian Barnes, is it, who's done it? Who does like the intro and whatever? And it was so good. It was so good. It it's obviously quite sad because of the subject matter, and he's writing about his own battle with syphilis, which I suppose is again quite apt for this channel to be discussing this kind of thing. But it is so interesting. And so, I don't know, I just found it fascinating how he wrote down his thoughts regarding his battle with syphilis and what things were going on. And it was humorous, it was touching, and it was all done in a tiny little book. And great. So I recommend you all go out and read that.
But it's like, well, here's a perfect example of something. Biography of Charles Chaplin that was done by David Robinson. It's a fabulous biography. It's really big. And then I've read Charles Chaplin's own memoir, and that's fair size. And then I saw listed in a Remainder House, what's his
Aykroyd?
Yeah, Aykroyd's biography. And I'm thinking Dickens, I'm thinking his Dickens biography. And I get this thing that's barely 200 pages. And what?
You could have picked any other author other than Big Thick Dickens. Sorry.
Well,
I haven't even been drinking.
What other author wrote a short biography of Chaplin? Tell me, and that wrote another biography that was really big of somebody else.
But I think isn't his Chaplin biography? Isn't it part of a series like called Short Lives?
It is. See, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that when I ordered it. I just saw it and thought, "Whoa, I want to see what he says about Chaplin." I haven't read it yet because I just put it on the shelf, and it's like I was so disappointed with it.
Yeah.
For that reason. And it's like, and I really don't know if he could say anything new that I don't already know about him. So, and it's like all these, I did a video. I have all these books about the Boer War, or not Boer War, the Zulu Wars. They're all like 200 some pages. And I started reading through some, and some of those are covering the same traction, and there's nothing new. There's
because it only lasted a short time.
Yeah, but you can still write 1,000 pages on it easily on just Rourke's
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if they take a little snippet and take 250 pages and delve deeply into that could be very interesting.
Let's go look at some of the comments. I might exclude the ones that are having a go at me. Well, Alan, you're not alone. It seems that every book Shawn reads is a reread. But that's something I want to talk about, so we'll come back to that. Hello, everyone. Just join. What's the topic tonight? Excuse me. The size of what? Excuse me. Well, we did start Yuri with our Friday reads, but it lasted all of 10 minutes because we didn't read that much this week. And then we've been talking about sizes of books and how Shawn decides whether a book is going to be good or not, depending on how big it is.
That's not really true.
You just said you did judge. You did prejudge the Chaplin one.
I have, yeah.
It might be amazing.
It could be, yeah. Well, that's the thing, and that's but most of the time, I'm justified that you can't do much in a short period. It depends on what they've done with it. That's the thing. If it's supposed to be an all-encompassing biography, all you're going to do is just give sound bites. You can't do anything else. If you focus in on one part of their life, then you could do something. Or if you're taking a different tact on it, but if it's supposed to be an all-encompassing biography, I will say you can't do it. You can't do it in 200 pages.
That novel of the century could have been bigger then, couldn't it?
Well, it's three volumes. It's a trilogy, so it is massive.
No, not Son of the Century, sorry, Novel of the Century.
Oh, sorry.
Or Novel of a Century.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I did want more for that. I did want more.
Because he does cop out a bit at the end, doesn't he? Where he's like, well, if you want to do that, you can do it yourself. I'm not going to do it. Whereas it would have been nice if he had done it for us. But anyway, let's crack on with these a bit there. So Mark takes a moment. Yes, Mark needs a moment. Omnipotent Pooh likes big books and he cannot lie. These heavy tones I can't deny. So, right arm. Jenny finds it amusing. Was it unsatisfying, Sean? Alexis points out my mind's in the gutter. It is, unfortunately, it is. And Winterlin says that's probably
stars.
Sorry?
She's looking at the stars, though, us.
And Winterlin says probably because I spend too much time with middle schoolers. Well, that could be true as well. Although sometimes I wonder if I'm not more immature than them at times. Jenny says it's a fun place to be. I don't know if she means here or in my mind that's in the gutter. It's not always that fun, Jenny. Mark, guess what? I went to the German meat market today and got some real kielbasa. Yum. Sounds great. And you're cooking it with some sauerkraut. Nice. And Alexis says, I hate big books that are all fluff and filler. Smaller books can be more accurate and on point sometimes.
Yeah, that's the thing. You do have to judge it by itself. I have read some that are going, you're just spinning your wheels here. You're not telling me anything more about this. You're just rehashing the same thing. And yeah, that can happen as well.
Yeah, it can, can't it? Right? So,
but I'm more if I want a biography of somebody, and I've got an 800 or 1,000 page one and one that's 200, I'm more likely to pick up the big one first and look at it and be more interested in it than the short one. Which one I decide to read will depend on many other factors.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's understandable. So,
I do a little divination, chicken's feet and stuff like that, and
entrails and all that kind of stuff, eh? Alan's mind's also. Oh no, my mind's in the gutter, but I'm looking at the stars. That's what he said. LD. Yeah. Wild, Oscar Wilde. Yeah. No, lovely jubbly. But yeah, rereads. That's the thing. Yeah, you are a massive rereader, though, aren't you? Really?
I am now. Yeah, I don't know. Well, do you want me to continue?
No, that's enough. Thanks. Thanks for coming, Sean. Yeah, of course. Go for it.
Well, no,
I just got distracted by Alexis talking about kebabs and pizza, and I was thinking, sounds nice. But yeah, go
on. Well, yeah. Let's give our subscribers our address, and they can call up or online. They can order us pizza, and we can sit here and eat pizza both.
Yeah, but the problem is if we're sharing it, then
no, one for me and one for you.
I don't need it. I had Vietnamese earlier, so send Sean a pizza. His address is forgot.
No, rereads. I've always reread stuff. There were books that I reread because I liked them, but I don't know why. After after I had the COVID and I started getting back into reading, I think I wanted something that was familiar, so I started rereading stuff that I had, and then getting more stuff, and then I just sort of realized, well, there's a lot of the canon, the literature that I haven't read since I was in my early 20s, like in the 80s. So it's been a long time. And I want to either reassess some stuff or just go back, because I remember I enjoyed that. Will I still like it now? And
well, that sounds like a new series of videos. Will Sean still like it?
Well, that's been for over 2 years now. For about 2 years.
Jenny says that having a dirty mind is the only way to get through a shift at work. Teasing customers is a lot of fun. But you work in the post office, so I'm trying to wonder what the dirty mind stuff is. Like, oh, you need to lick that stamp a bit more, sir. Ooh, Alexis, do they have pizza joints? Yes, we have pizza restaurants and takeaway pizzas and stuff here. It's not, it's not really the back of Beyond. The art director downstairs in the studio has a pizza brick. Yeah, making black, olive, and pepperoni pizzas for us lately. Yummy. So yeah. So I don't know. For me, I do enjoy a reread, but nowhere I don't read. But then I haven't read as much as you, of course, because I'm so much younger and less experienced that I haven't perhaps got such a great wealth of material to draw upon to reread. However, I think I'm just determined, unless it's something really special, I'm just determined to read things for the first time because there's so much I want to read that part of me looks at rereading as a little bit, time wasting what I could be reading, something new. I understand your motivations. I'm not having a go at you for that or anything, of course. And it makes perfect sense. I'm just speaking from my own side that, like, yeah, I could reread this, but then I've read Three Men in a Boat a million times, and each time I read it, I could have been reading something else. So yeah, it does depend, I guess.
Yeah, well, this year I am reading more books than I have last year of new books because, like, I'm doing the Zola stuff. Uh, about over half of that is new. The Sackett's new, over half. The Hornblower, probably at least half. Maybe, yeah, about half. And then there's lots of others. And then, well, the French stuff, I have no problem with rereading that. And
Have you read all of them before?
which?
The French stuff. I've got the list here
No,
actually today.
no, I have not. Like, I haven't read the Charterhouse
House of Parma.
and the Guy de Maupassant one. I have not read a novel.
Alive. Uh-huh.
Um,
Cyrano de Bergerac.
yeah, I've read that.
Uh-huh.
I think there's one other. Oh,
Liaison Dangereux.
yeah, I think that might be one. Yeah, I don't think I've read that, but I think that's it.
Phantom of the Opera you read.
Yeah,
And The Hunchback.
yeah.
Or Notre Dame de Paris. Mm.
And then, but next year when we do the Russians, if you decide if you want to do Brothers, no, Crime and Punishment, that's the only one I've read, and everything else, like, I haven't read most of the other ones, so they'll be all new.
Let's see, Jenny. Customer comments. 1, I have a big one for you. 2, do I just stick it in? 3, where do you want it? It gets hard to resist, and often I don't. Yeah, well, yeah, I think other ones could be the whole, the don't bend thing on the envelopes. Maybe you can make something a bit naughty out of that. And yeah, no, it must be. It sounds a bit carry on, doesn't it? Omnipton Pooba asks, I thought you're both roughly the same age. Generation X is in their 40s, who are the first Dahl cohort, so the most up in arms at having their childhood rewritten. And I don't know whether Shawn should be extremely flattered or I should be extremely insulted. We are, however, both Generation X's. That is true. We just
I'm at the beginning, like, I mean, literally, what, the first or second year in it, I think
something like that. And I'm at the end. I'm literally on the last year of it. So, wow, second to last year. I think it finishes 81. So yeah. So yeah, I guess we are Generation X's, and we're grumpy all the time. But you wouldn't have grown up with Dahl. I mean, I guess he was writing when you were young, but as we know from your, Shawn's second childhood, you didn't read those kind of things. So
no, and I don't think Dahl was that big in Canada. That's the thing. I don't think he was. I don't remember other people or other kids talking about them or knowing about. The only time I really started knowing about them was some commercials that were on. They were sort of taking the sort of Hansel and Gretel, but doing it in a sort of dark way. And there'd be little cartoons they weren't commercials, but they were they were at the ends of commercials or something like that on TV. Something rhymes. Beastly rhyme. I can't remember.
Revolting Rhymes, brilliant.
Yeah. So they did little cartoon little things, animated things of those. That I think was the first
time. No, I didn't take it as a criticism on the Booba. I was just joking around. You're 73. Yeah. Same boat as Sean.
What?
73.
Yeah. Well, go back in time. Another 8 years? 78 years?
But I think that's it. I do think, yeah. What is it? What's before Generation X? Is it just the baby boomers?
Boomers.
Yeah.
See, I always thought I was baby boomers because I thought I was at the last tail end of baby boomers, unless they changed.
Maybe you are the tail end of the baby boomers. What are you? 65?
66.
66. I don't know if omnipotent poobah means they were born in 73 or they are 73. No, it must be born in 73. When saying same boat, so same boat as Generation X, yeah. So born 73. I'm assuming rather than 73, but either way, this is the tough thing. We don't know. The funny thing is, all these people look at us, and a lot of people we have no idea what they look like or what they do and everything. It's like our lives are out there, kinda, and yet, yeah, it's interesting. Let's just go back a little bit here. Alan says he groped the luminaries. He read the luminaries with Aaron Facer and Flossie in February. Rereading it, yeah. I think did you send me a message about that, Alan? I think that was impressive. You haven't done that since Huckleberry Finn. Well, it's a bit different size. Jenny's asking you, how do you decide when to reread when there are so many new books to read?
That's the thing. There are lots of new books, but a lot of them don't do much for me. That's the thing. But I don't know. I don't spend the time sort of looking for stuff because I know there's so much, and I know there's old stuff that I haven't read that I want to read as well. So, and for reread, it's sort of like anything that I've read before. So if somebody comes up, like Mark decided to do the French stuff, and I go, oh, well, I'll do that as well because I do want to reread that stuff.
You're always up for a bit of French action, right?
Yeah, and when anybody says something, I go, oh, yeah, I got time for that. I'll reread that. But I'm reading the Recognitions, which I haven't read. But that's not new, but I haven't read anything.
It is the worst hobby for people who can't say no, though. Booktubing, is it? It's like, what's going on? Yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah. And then you come to do your TBR and it's like, I'm reading 27 books this they're each 500 pages long.
I said I was going to read the first translation of The Three Musketeers. I only got like a couple hundred pages in it, and because I was stalled, I was slowed down by other things, I decided to put that aside. Which I hope to get it done before August, that we do. Oh, there's the other thing. These things that I'm reading in translation, are they rereads? There's a question there.
Yeah, I suppose if it's the same translation or if it's a different translation, is it a reread? That's a good point. You've given me my video idea for tomorrow. Thanks, mate.
Well, I know what my video idea for Sunday is. It's from Lost Illusions. Yeah, publishing.
No, oh yeah, that paper even would be an interesting topic. The way he talks about it.
Well, I'm just because it's something that I've been thinking of about what publishing is now. Like my thoughts on it, and self-publishing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, some of your thoughts won't be a surprise to people who know you. Okay, born in 73. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But I kind of guessed you probably were.
Youngster.
That's what it means to be a pub. Exactly. I've come on YouTube to talk to you all about how much I want privacy.
Yeah.
Have you seen those clips of South Park with the I don't even remember their names, Meghan and Harry?
I never really liked South Park that much.
I have to say they do a good job with this though, because they like run around to all these publicity things shouting, you know, we demand privacy, we demand privacy, you know. So it's, whilst going on to talk shows and doing all this stuff, it's very, but of course it doesn't actually specify, I should say that. It doesn't say that it's those particular people.
Well, you do see
They
authors.
refer to the royal family as Canada, that's all. Sorry?
Yeah, well, like you do see authors like that of saying, you know, I don't want to be known as X. Meanwhile, every time they do something talking, they're talking about the X, you know, and it's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, Phil and Holly. What was the one I saw? Because sometimes it pops up on my YouTube, and there's that funny one about with that chef DeCampo saying something about, was it my grandmother was a village bicycle or something like that, and he says he just gets it the wrong way around. It's quite funny the way they're trying to keep this. Well, they can't keep a straight face, but what have we missed? I missed some. Hang on. Oh dear. South Park rules. South Park. Took you 400 pages of the luminaries to understand. Yeah, well, it's hard going. It's quite a big book. Yeah, Yuri asks, could I talk about my favorite Czech writers, please? Maybe a video on Czech or Eastern European literature. What do I think? I think it's a great idea. And I have been meaning to do it. I actually would like to have somebody on to talk about it, but we're kind of negotiating with language issues because they would feel more comfortable doing it in Czech, understandably, which means then I'd have to translate it, and I don't know if people would be willing to sit through a video that was half subtitled or not, but maybe. If so, then
You
it's
can
something I'll
talk
crack
about
on with.
a Czech grandson writer that's a fabulous writer in science fiction.
Who's that? Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No, that's a good idea, Yuri. Because that would be good. And nobody asked me to do Canadian literature because I will not do it.
Would you do it sponsored though? If people said, "Yeah, they'll buy all the best Canadian works going," or is it so bad that you wouldn't even want to have them bought for you?
Well, I would do it, but there wouldn't be much good. I wouldn't be saying much good about stuff. That's for sure. But I say that, but there are some that I do kind of like. But in general, I say nah.
I forget who I was reading about. Was Canadian born. Yeah, who's the guy I was reading? Oh, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. It'll come to me. Peter's here. Hi, Peter. I think Roald Dahl wrote Gremlins. He wrote a story with that title. Did he write Gremlins? I know somebody did, obviously, but I know it was somebody well known. I don't remember.
Anything like the film? Like, did they steal it and never attributed it to him, or?
No, I think they did, but I don't know if it was.
Because I remember seeing a novelization of the film for Gremlins.
Alan says I should do a video, a vlog rather, at my favorite pub. Yeah, well, the sad thing is, someone here who asked a question earlier was somebody who I turned down going to the pub with tonight to do the live. So it's kind of funny because, I said to him, because I do it every week, and of course, I don't want to let down our adoring audience, but I said if they'd have to let me know more than just a couple of hours beforehand. So, yeah. So sorry about that, Carlos. I know you're watching. So, what have we got here? But I would like to try and do that. Actually, it would be kind of fun. But you see, I never know really how much people want to see. I mean, how much the books are really the most important thing, or whether people are happy from time to time to see other things. Like I'd like to maybe document a bit of the process of my house building, or as you say, maybe take you along to a festival, a beer festival, or something like that. But I just feel sometimes people might be like, "Oh no, I signed up to watch. You talk about books. I don't want to see you drink beer." So it depends. Hey Heather, good to see you. Welcome. Alan says a study in Czech beer. Yeah, well, yeah, could do. It's an earlier book of his. That's Gremlins again. Some great sci-fi writers were born in Canada.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I say I like A.E. Van Vogt. There's Spider Robinson. I don't mind, but yeah, there's quite a few. There's a lot of actors too, but there's a lot of bad actors too, and associated one with science fiction. But yeah.
Well, he's Welsh Norwegian, isn't he, Roald Dahl? Apparently, this Kieran chap, one I mentioned to you earlier, Sean, off air. Polite things, of course. I'm not that mean. Claiming Dahl as part of the Welsh canon. Yeah, well, I mean, he's I guess more Welsh than English. I mean, he's half Welsh, half Norwegian. Apparently, so. BookTube likes vlogs. Well, do they though? I don't know. I'm not sure I'm so good at making them, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a thing. I see some people make a vlog, and all it is, they just turn on the video, and they're doing like 3 or 4 minutes somewhere, and that's the whole video. And I always thought a vlog was you do a whole bunch of those and you splice them together.
Yeah, and you speed stuff up. I mean, I'm always worried about filming myself reading, because I might forget that I'm filming and start rooting around in my nose, or start sticking my finger. You know what I mean? And then oh no, I suppose I'm not live, so I could probably.
Well, that's better than the guy doing the business meeting and the Zoom that apparently, and then you don't remember that during COVID, and
there were so many.
I think it was a high up, and then he masturbated on the Zoom call while it was going.
Now, Sean, is this one of those?
No,
a friend of mine.
It is a real thing.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. What we got here? Oh, sorry, I didn't read yours, Angie. You would like to see my house growing. I would like to see it growing too, and hopefully, yes, I can share it with people if they're interested. Yes, indeed, he did grow up in England, although I believe he's Welsh born.
Yeah, well, see, this thing, I worked with somebody who actually lived in a house that he did, and he used a little shed out in the back to write in. And
yeah.
This guy grew up in this house, in the house. I don't know where it was. I have no idea.
Well, I used to hang out in a house that was then bought by Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. So that's my little claim. Lucky me, yeah. Yeah, they kicked me out though as soon as they. Sean, would you do? Sorry, Jesus. What would Brian Boitano do?
Who's that?
I don't know. Thought you would know. You're going to have to clarify that, I think, for Sean.
It is.
Robertson Davies was Canadian, one of the greatest novelists ever, according to Parlabane. Hello, Parlabane. Good to see you.
Yeah, I that is somebody I have to read. I like his essays. And Mark, you might like one of his essays. He says do not that you should subvocalize. You should read every word and cherish it in one of his essays. It's a really good essay.
Is he in the public domain, or is he?
No, I don't think he would be. No, I don't think he. But yeah, I used to own a bunch of P.G. Wodehouse books that were his and his wife's. they both liked them, and they used to give presents back and forth of a PG Woodhouse book.
Oh, that's nice. Alexis says you should do a house vlog during the summer. We can see the flora and fauna along with the building process. Well, I do hope they start doing it before the summer. Really, we'll see. He pulled out his hand lotion and went for his trousers whilst everyone. Oh, this guy. I thought you meant Sean for a second there. Okay, yeah, the guy on Zoom. Dahl is fairly obviously part of Grim Scandi Hans Christian tradition, not a daffodil in sight. Yeah. Mark, what were you, the houseboy? No. He's just a friend of mine. My best friend when I was young, very young, like in first grade, second grade, third grade, first form, second form, whatever, at school. He lived in this house, and I used to go there very, very regularly and hang out there, sleep there, whatever, swim there. And when his parents sold it, they sold it to Michael Douglas. So, who has read The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells? Sean, you've never read that, have you?
No. Yes, I have.
I've never heard of it. I thought it was some Ellison geezer wrote Invisible Man.
Yeah,
No?
I was just gonna say Ralph Ellison. You got the author wrong. It's Ralph Ellison.
Yes, I think I mean I've read it, and I think Sean's read it, of course. So yeah, have you read it, Peter? MP Hunt, Yuri, Sean will definitely not. Sean will definitely not get a South Park reference.
Yeah, if that's what it was, I have no idea.
Yeah, but it's all an act. You know, when we're off there, Sean's always telling me how he watches like the latest, you know, South Parks. He's up with the Simpsons even still, and yeah,
it is. Oh shit!
Yeah. Simpsons are as well.
Crikey.
Peter, I reread it a few weeks ago. Great book. It is a good book, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jenny also enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I got to get
Now,
back to reading.
Steve mentioned it the other day.
What? Man?
Well, hang on. I don't know if people got that you were joking or not.
What? I can't. What?
Ralph Ellison, you said, and they're saying no, it was H.G. Wells. But Steve mentioned the other day Memoirs of the Invisible Man as a book by somebody I've forgotten. He said it was quite good. I just remember the terrible film. So
yeah, I people have said it's good. I've not read it, but people have said it's a good book.
I wouldn't mind reading it.
Somebody else has done a sequel to War of the Worlds too. That's some people I've heard a few people say it's really good.
Well, there's that sequel by somebody to The Count of Monte Cristo, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
And there's even a couple of like modern sequels or whatever to Les Mis, because I think it was Heather at Soggy Expat Booknet. I really like her and her channel. I would say go and check her out if you haven't done so. She's an American who lives in Wales, and she like learns Welsh, and she's just very entertaining. She's really nice, and she was I think it was part of the Welsh Readathon, but there was a book she was talking about called Fantine, I think, or Fanny. Yeah, it was Fanny, but it's spelled Fannie, and it was about Fantine from Les Miserables, and someone had taken it. It actually sounded quite interesting. I was quite curious. I wouldn't mind to see how someone carried on with it. So it was going more into depth. So it's not really a sequel, of course. I guess it's just going more in depth into what happened with the tragic figure of Fantine. So
that's what I wonder. I wonder if he wrote a little more about her time, because there's obviously you get the sort of dinner scene where she meets that sleazy guy, and then all of a sudden she's pregnant with she has Cosette. like what sort of happened in between there. All we get is a couple sentences.
Yeah, but she's exactly because she spends she obviously gives up the child. She spends a bit of
Yeah.
time in the town Miroe-sur-Mer or whatever it's called. So let's just go through here. Brian Bortiano is a character. I've seen the South Park film loads of times, unless they made another one. But I don't remember. Invisible Man published 1952. That's the Ellison version. Thank you, Alexis. Yes, Ellison as well. Yeah. Paula Baines, Stephen Baxter did the sequels to The Time Machine. Brilliant. War of the Worlds, not so good.
Okay.
Peter the Book Lover, I like it a little bit more than Frankenstein in his fast-paced story. Oh, I would say Invisible Man is, for me too, more exciting than Frankenstein. Frankenstein's good, but yeah. And so the other one, H.G. Wells, is published 1897. This is the friend I turned down going to the pub to be with you. He says, have you had the chance to enjoy any Portuguese literature?
Very little for me, and the stuff I do want to read, but yeah, very little.
Yeah, it's but some people do read what's his name's Portuguese? Is he Pessoa?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people read him. I haven't read that much actually. I'm sorry about that, because obviously we're friends. I should do probably, but what would you suggest?
Ask, I'm just sorry, backing up a little bit. Did everybody think that I don't know about the Invisible Man one, the Ralph Ellison? Didn't realize I was joking or something, because there's so many things.
No, they knew you knew about Ralph Ellison. They just thought you didn't know about the H.G. Wells one, because you know nothing about H.G. Wells. So
I know nothing. Yeah, I know nothing. Yeah.
So Bash, I won't use your name in case you're being private about it, but do you recommend any Portuguese literature? Is there any Azorian literature? That's because this person's actually from the Azores. So,
well, I'm sure there is, but the thing is, there's a lot of stuff that just you don't get stuff translated. That's the thing. So much stuff that look interesting that I've been told about, and then you go, "Well, there's no translation."
I want to read, and I can never remember the name. The book, you'll probably remember it. It's a book written by, and I don't know if it's a book in verse or prose, but it was written by somebody who accompanied Vasco da Gama or Ferdinand Magellan. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, it's the verse poem.
Magellan, is it?
Yeah.
Actually, I might have one little snippet of a Portuguese thing. I don't know if he's Portuguese or Spanish. Sorry, I know there is a difference.
Portuguese, but... I think he is.
No. The one I'm talking about is Portuguese, but I don't know if this one is.
I forgot. I'm blanking on the name of it now, and I want to read that in full, because there's a really good translation. I've never read it in full. I've only read bits of it.
I think this guy is Portuguese, and I don't know if he's the same one. If you can see at the top there,
I can't.
Cabeça de Vaca, is it, or de Vaca? Cabeça de Vaca. I'm guessing he's Portuguese. But I suppose it's not. I don't know if it's probably not literature. Oh no, maybe. Hang on, he's probably Spanish actually. Apologies.
I can't. I'm blanking totally.
Yeah, now I see his Spanish. Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca.
Blanking totally on the name of that and the author. Epic Portuguese poem. Let's just try that.
I think he begins with C, the one we're thinking of. If anyone knows in the comments, let us know.
Le Lucade, Luis de Camio's.
Oh, so it did begin with a C, yeah.
I like if it's all the Portuguese people I'm horrible at pronouncing this stuff, but yeah, it's the Lusades, Portuguese epic poem by Louis Vaz de Caminhos, which is probably way wrong. First published in 1572. That's the one.
So Bash, if you want to watch people discuss the Portuguese, there's a nice Portuguese woman booktuber. I haven't seen her on for a while though. She has a channel called Knitting Books, etc. So she reads a lot of English books, but she's also good for that. And I think Jack at Rambling Raconteur is also somebody who looks at books from all sorts of places, including Portugal, because I know they do like the likes of Saramago and somebody else. But let's see. Let's have a look.
Yeah, the knitting books, and she was on the
Desert Island Books.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen any videos from her, Christina. I haven't seen her.
Yeah, no, she's got another channel that I'm subscribed to. It's a knitting channel, but it's in Portuguese. But I subscribe to it. It is just a purely knitting channel, and I've seen some videos of her on there. So.
Let's see. Sean, Mark, what do you make of The Space Machine or Space Machine by J.B. Priestley? I haven't read it. Sean?
I'm not sure if I've read that. I've read a lot of Priestley, but I don't know if I've read Space Machine. That doesn't ring a bell. That must be a short piece.
I don't know. I know nothing about it.
I like Priestley. I do like.
I was just thinking about Forrester's The Machine Stops. Yeah. That's good, though. I enjoyed that. P to the book lover. Who's read the play The Importance of Being Earnest?
Yeah.
Handbag. As for the Portuguese, how about discussing Luciadas by Ruiz de Camões? Camões.
Yeah, that's the one. Cameos, or I don't know the pronunciation, but yeah, I'd love to read it in its entirety. I've only read snippets of it.
Saramago. So Bash says, I agree. It might not be the same. I would recommend maybe Blindness by Jose Saramago or The Mayas by Etza de Quiros. Sorry. I'll get a slap later. What's the other one here? Saudades da Terra by Gaspar Frutuoso and Sonetos Completos by Antonia de Quental. So they're both writers born in the Azores. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, names like just totally unknown, because up until the internet, like I was always, libraries would never have this stuff. It was whatever would be in a bookshop, looking at old books and stuff and try to find stuff. That's where I found some stuff, but unless you know somebody that reads this, you just don't find it.
Because it is interesting, because obviously we're doing the French this year, we plan to do the Russians next year, so maybe the year after we'll have to, I don't know. I mean, for our type of literature, would we find enough translated material for the periods we like to read if we looked at Portuguese only? We'd probably have to do like an Iberian or like an Italian-Iberian Peninsula mix or something like that, maybe, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I
don't know, because I don't know how well translated Portuguese works are of like the 19th century and things.
Well, I know Penguin has put out a few things in the past. Like if you go through you got the Orange Classics Penguin book, and that's got some interesting stuff that I've never seen. I'll
look at the modern one, because I bet you, because it's probably got some good stuff too.
Yeah, it's just like there's stuff in there that I've just never seen, and I got to get that, or somebody has to buy it for me.
It's bigger than the other one.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it is set up nicely geographically.
I've got something. I've got the poor man's version of it. I've got the Poor Man's version of it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But it doesn't seem to be alphabetical in that respect, because you go from Sweden to Portugal. Here we go. It's too heavy to hold up, and you probably can't see because of the glare anyway. But for Portugal, yeah, they have Fernando Pessoa, of course. And that's it.
Yeah, you see. Well, there's got to be other place like the New York Review of Books. I think they are translating stuff, and there's other publishers that are translating. But look in the orange one if you got that handy.
Yeah, I will have a look in a second. Yeah, the Spain, they've got quite a few, but for Portugal, only Fernando Pessoa. That's terrible. And then it goes straight into Norway.
Portugal, Norway. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the other one, you see, it's historical periods more.
Yeah.
This one's divided up into.
But I know I've gone through and saw a couple things that I'm pretty sure were Portuguese, and I go, I've never seen this penguin before.
Yeah, Western Europe, the Netherlands. Keep talking while I'm looking. Otherwise, we'll lose all our beloved viewers.
But yeah, it's just there's all sorts of stuff like that. And yeah, if we're doing Russians next year, you could just pick another thing. My friend suggested Chinese novels, like the early Chinese novels, like The Red Chamber and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool. But those are massive, long things, multi-volumes. But there's all sorts of stuff. You could do German, you could do Italian, you could do Spanish, Portuguese.
Yeah, but it's difficult to come up with 19th century Germans, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's either 18th century or 20th century, more or less. Yeah.
Portugal doesn't even have a page in here, so it must be.
I know I've seen something in there.
Yeah, but they're probably in the historic things, so it's probably there. I should maybe look in the index, I suppose. But
yeah, I haven't looked at that for a while. When I got it, I kept it handy, and I kept looking at it for months and months, flipping through. And
yeah, I mean, I have to say they are beautiful books, though.
Yeah, I have to get the modern one because there's so much stuff. Well, we could do German 20th century because there's so much stuff German 20th century writing that I have not read that I'm so interested in.
Yeah.
And I did
annoyingly, it doesn't list anything Portuguese in index under the country. So I'm guessing, Bash, you're going to have to get cracking. You're going to have to get cracking in translating some of these works. Right. Sorry, I've neglected the comments. Where are we?
Everybody.
Peter loved. What's it called? Loved the importance of being earnest. Again, South Park rules. Yes, Bash is indeed Spanish. It was my mistake. You're not mistaken. Hamlet was the first play I ever read, according to Alexis. Read it for school, and it was work. Fernando Pessoa, Jose Saramago, and Enzo de Corres. I would recommend Saramago 1. Now, yeah, you will see Saramago around definitely on BookTube as well as Pessoa, but the Echa de Queiroz, I haven't seen him before. We are all obviously far too highbrow to mention Coelho. Is definitely isn't the Penguin catalog online now? Yeah, but this
in print, isn't it? Can you actually see something like that of everything that they've done? I don't know.
I don't know.
Has it been done? I haven't come across it.
Yuri says, as you've mentioned the Russians, do you or Sean or anyone here read modern Russian writers? Do you know Vladimir Sorokin or others? If yes, how do they help you understand the modern Russia? That's an interesting question. I haven't read any really modern Russians, modern
Well,
Russians,
Canadian
modern
is
Russians. I guess the only one I read, but it's not highbrow literature, is Sergei Lukyanenko, who wrote the Twilight series, which I really like, and I never see it talked about, and I think it's great. And I'm certainly not a fantasy or horror person, but these books spoke to me, and it was one of these where it was like a trilogy, and then it ended up being 5 or 6 books, and I really, really liked them.
Yeah, Solzhenitsyn is the only modern Russian that I think probably.
Well, even modern's pushing it a little bit.
No, that's modern.
Well,
Modern is basically 1920, like it's a postmodern.
I think Yuri probably means more recently, no?
Oh, contemporary. Okay. Well,
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. No, maybe he means modern then, 20th century. So yeah, possibly then. In that case, I've heard of Vladimir Sorokin, but I haven't read any. And have I read any? Well, Bulgakov then is modern
yeah,
in
I
that
haven't read it.
sense.
But you're gonna do the
Nabokov I've read as well. Sorry.
Yeah, Quiet Flows the Dawn.
Yeah, but I've got the full version now, so.
You do, yeah. That's I need to get that. I don't want to do the. Once I found out there was the Penguin version, which and all the other versions had just been chopped to bits. I don't want to read.
Yeah, the Penguin version is supposed to be good though.
Uh,
And of course, I'm thinking they split it up into different books in English. Because there are other I was looking in that book actually, and Penguin has 2 books. I can't remember the name of the second one.
Oh.
And it seems like that's the second part.
Oh, okay.
So where are we? Sorokin is brilliant. I'm not sure Lukyanenko is Ukrainian, honestly, because I thought the same thing, and I'm sure I might be wrong, but I did think he was actually Russian or Kazakh. Yeah, he was born in Kazakhstan, and Sergei Vasilyevich Lukyanenko is a Russian science fiction and fantasy author writing in Russian. So he's Russian, but he was born in Kazakhstan. So not Ukraine. Has anyone published a book that's here? Yes. I don't know who, though. Do you know anyone who's published a book, Sean?
Yeah, well, it was published for me by a publisher. I didn't publish it, but it was.
No, it's not self-published.
It's not self-published. It's a book of poetry, and bought at every fine bookshop, as the saying goes, or not.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Apologies. I just received a message I have to look at. It's not very professional, but sometimes one does have to let life intervene.
Yeah, I published, and I'm sure some of the people that are commenting, I'm sure somebody there has published something, a book.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, I have a message and I have to check it and I have to translate it now, which is rather annoying. So, okay. Should be
Yeah, it wasn't it Frank Zappa that said so many books, so little time, or something like that.
Yeah. Do you feel the need to understand the modern day Russia? I wonder. Well, to some degree, yes. Certainly, I feel I need to understand it maybe a bit more than Sean does, seeing as it's not that far away from me. And yeah, I guess I'm concerned, of course, a little bit. about it. But Russia's always been somewhere of interest to me. But I am more interested in, its history, I suppose. I find maybe the present and the future rather scary, although the history, of course, itself isn't particularly pleasant.
Yeah, it's one of those things with literature. I don't know why Russia is a gap for me, and there's no reason for it. It's not that I've read everything I've read, I've enjoyed and I really liked, but I just don't know why I haven't read more. But I think it's partially because I got tired of English, British Victorian writers, and I went to French. And there's just, you could spend a lifetime reading French writers, 19th century French writers.
Modern Russia seems to be a changing storm right now. I think there's a lot to be said in that. MP Hunt has published a book of poetry. Did it through Ingram Spark, so that it's available through all ebook outlets and available to order from shops, etc. So give us the name MP Hunt, and we'll plug it, and people might go and look at it. So Peter asks because he wants to know how much it would cost to print a copy of The Raven. But I think you can probably buy a copy of The Raven, if you mean Edgar Allan Poe's book.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Alma Classics have a very nice one. There's one I mentioned before. Jenny, I may enjoy writing, but the world will never read it. Yeah. Historically brilliant books have come out of difficult situations. I suppose that's true.
Well, that's why, like, I do like Solzhenitsyn, and I want to reread the Gulag Archipelago, but I also want to, like, I've only read a few books of his.
When you suggested the Gulag Archipelago, did you mean the whole thing, or?
Yeah, all three. You have to read all three. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a blast. Okay, well, I mean, we've got 2-hour mark. Our viewership is going down. Unless anyone has anything absolutely burning they want to put in the comments, I think we're probably going to call it an evening and actually go and get some reading done today.
Yeah, I got to get back to snow.
Yeah. CP. Okay, well, I'll give it 2 seconds, but really it's been great having you all on here. It was a very nice audience and some new commenters as well. That's always good.
Sorry, I'm not a South Park.
Well, you can get on it now, can't you? And here we go. Let's just plug MP's book before we leave.
Yeah.
It's called Immortalized in Ink. I thought the book itself cost £50 to buy. I was like, okay, good for that. It costs £50 to publish a book as both paperback and ebook. You get to set the prices, etc. Okay, wonderful. So, Immortalized in Ink, and is it by MP Hunt? If it is, then go and check it out. Parlabin, thank you so much for stopping by and for all your support. Alexis, yes, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah. Bash, thank you very much, and apologies. Let me know next time when you're back, and we will definitely go for a beer or 10. And Angie, ta-ta for now. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and we shall be back next Friday, unless Bash drags me out for a drink, in which case we'll reschedule to another day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.